Ka pai, morena tātou te iwi. Mea mai atui, me tīmata no reira, me tīmata tātou. Tūtahi, tuku ngā mihi ki tō tātou nei matunui te rangi tīmatanga me te whakamutunga o ngā mea katoa kororia ki tōne ingoa tapu. Ara ka whai whakaaro ki a rātou mā kua mene atu ki te pō, moi mai rā, oki mai rā ki ngā ringaringa kaha o tō tātou nei matunui te rangi. Tō tātou nei kingi Māori a kingi tūheitia e noho mai nei ringi tōna ahurewa tapu. Pai marire ki a rātou ko te whare o Pōtatau. Raka huri ki a tātou katoa, Ngāti manawa nui ki te kaupapa tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou whai aroha mai tēnei ata, te hara mai ki konei ki te whakarongo ki a maiwa pahupahu i tēnei rangi tēnā koutou katoa. Ko wai tēnei Michelle Ohia tōku ingoa he uri tēnei no Ngāti Kahungunu no rongo mai wahine anō hoki, he kaimahi ahau ki te Wharekura o Ngā Taiātea i tēnei wā. Tēnā koutou.
Kia ora koutou, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Ko te aroha te maunga, ko Piako te awa, no tātua nui ahau, ko Sheree Muggeridge tōku ingoa, Kako Pangarau, and in the senior leadership team at Ngā Taiātea Wharekura.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about the PGC today. The PGC, I know it sounds pretty like Gold Coasty and everything like that. It sounds pretty exciting. And it is in our world, the PGC. It's all about the tirohanga, whānau. So PGC is the professional growth cycle. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to share a little bit about how we run the professional growth cycle in our kura, in our context. So we'll be sharing a bit about our kura, a bit about our kaupapa, and hopefully give you guys some tools that you can use to help you guys. Ka pai? So do we have, I'm just wondering who we have in the room. Yes. So do we have any kaiako in the room? Kapula kaiako? Oh, awesome. So this is catered to you too. Do we have any board members? Yeah, awesome. Cool. Any tūmuraki senior leadership? Ka pai, and any whānau, we're all whānau. Excellent. So even though our presentation is catered to kaiako, you can easily adapt what we have to whatever role or whatever position you have in your kura and in your hapori. Yeah. Ka pai? Did you want anything?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, so we're just going to start, because I'm assuming that everyone's got a pen, because who comes to a hui without a pen, whānau? Plus there are some free ones on the table. So we're going to start just by going through, we're going to start just by asking a couple of questions, and then we're going to leave our questions hanging there for a while, and we're going to revisit our questions at the end. Ka pai, so the first question is, because the reo and tikanga is important to all of us, because we wouldn't be in this kaupapa if it wasn't, I'm just going to ask you just to take a couple of seconds to jot down your answer to this question. What are you doing to improve your reo this year? Ka pai, what are you doing to improve your reo this year? So no matter where you are, whether you're on this end of the scale or whether you teach panikeretanga, I'm pretty sure everybody needs to do something to improve your reo. What is it? So just jot that down and we'll leave that hanging for later on.
Taitoroa, here we have, what do you want your uri to say about you as a kāko? Now I've put this in here and I know we've only got a few kāko here, but it's about your legacy, about who you are to people, about what you want people to think about when they think about you. So I guess different people got different things here, but what do you want people, your whānau, to say about you? What's your legacy?
You know, when somebody asks, who was your favourite teacher and why, you can sort of go like that. And you remember them and you don't remember the ones that didn't make that impact on your life. You want to be an impact player, whānau?
Don't worry, team, there's only 4 questions.
Yeah. And we're not giving you much time either.
So, not an exam, not a full exam today.
Oh.
Oh.
So this one here is, we want you to picture the ultimate you. What do you need to improve to become the best version of yourself? What is it that you need to improve on to be the best version of yourself? Now, this part down the bottom here, that whare tapawha, is just to give you a little bit of kai there to, stimulate those brain waves there, thinking about the tinana, the wairua, your whānau side, your hinengaro. What is it that you need to improve on to be that best version of yourself?
You can just choose one thing.
Yeah.
And our last question here, again, it was aimed for kāko, but maybe our tūmaki, you might think of it as a teacher. If you're on the board, you might think of someone whānau. But it's think of one uri who is underachieving in your kura. Now, the big thing with here is you decide what underachieving is. Underachieving could be that their absenteeism is high. Underachieving could be that it's a 5-year-old who can't quite hold their pencil right. Underachieving could be a year 13 student who's only getting merits that should be getting excellence. Okay? So the idea here is that we're really focusing in and we're identifying one person that we need to work with. I know, a bit difficult if you're not kāko.
Yeah, we don't want to give you guys too much time. You might start writing a rārangi ingoa.
Beautiful.
Ka pai, that's enough time, okay, guys? So we just want you to park that up to the side there, and we're going to revisit those 4 questions a little later. So now we're going to jump into another part. We're going to just jump into a little bit about our kaupapa and the history, so that you just have a little understanding of our context and where we're from. Ka pai, so the hitori of Ngā Taiātea in a nutshell. Why? Why were we established? Mutu kauana taku te mai te kōrero Māori ki te kura tuatahi, ka haere ia ki hea. So at the time, I'm talking about in the late 90s, there were many kura kaupapa Māori and rūmaki units established around our rohe, but there was nowhere for them to go post kura tuatahi. There was a kura where my husband and I worked at. We've only actually ever had 2 teaching jobs. One at this kura, te whare kura o Rākau Mangamanga, and then this kura. So there was that kura that was established, but the problem, or the challenge, is that the kura was full, kārua, it was in Huntly, which was half an hour away. Ka pai, so that is the why we were established. The what? We wanted a kura in Kirikiriroa itself, in Hamilton, where Māoritanga was nurtured, valued and developed, and where being successful and Māori was one and the same and was normal. Ka pai, who? So there were a group of 9 primary schools, those schools that I spoke about, our contributing schools in Waikato. They joined together to push for the establishment of a kaupapa Māori secondary school for their rangatahi. And that charge was led by a man named Henare, Henare Johns, and he led the crew of parents and community to go and take the submissions to Parliament, te whare pi, ki kora, every year. From 1996, went down, kau. 1997, went down, kau. You can see the picture, right? 98, 99, 2000. Finally, in 2002, they I kimi whakaitanga rātou. Me mihi ka tika ki a rātou for that type of resilience And that type of effort, you get declined 6 or 7 times, and they keep going because they saw a need. They needed somewhere for our kids to go once they finished the kura tuatahi. So at the end of 2004, Watson, who I like to call Hariwari, you might, he's not here, but he'd be so he was approached by Henare Johns when we were working at Huntley to apply for the job, and he was appointed mid-2003, the year prior to. And you know that schools now that have the opportunity to erect the new kura and open that get like a year or even longer to prepare. He didn't even have 6 months. And then he was placed in this tiny little office upstairs with this tiny little group of staff to try and create everything prior to the school opening at the end of January in 2004. So that's just a little bit about how we were established in a nutshell. So our kaupapa was created by the hard work of that group of parents and by the hard work of an excellent leader. And I know the kumara doesn't talk about his own reka, but he's a hard worker. And the kaiako and the board and the students and the parents that believe in the kaupapa. And we all know that, eh? You know that the parents trust all of us with their babies, and you have to do all that you can to make sure that we nurture, develop, and build all of those attributes into our uri.
Nice.
Oh, that's me. I'm still going at the iwi. Oh, it's all right. You will hear some other lovely language soon.
This is always exciting though, because Misha's so passionate about this, and you can feel this. And I think that that's potentially why this whole program that we're going to speak about today works, because we have passionate leaders. So I think that's really, don't apologise.
So what is important to us in our kaupapa? Our vision statement is no ona mata te mauri, kai ana mata te aronga. And I'm pretty sure you guys would have heard something similar here at Ngā Kura Aiwi. And this phrase, ancestrally driven, future focused, was coined by Hekia Parata when we came to a Kura Aiwi hui back in 2015. Watson heard that phrase and he says, I'm just going to translate that. We're going to use that. That's going to be our vision. So, no ona mata te mauri, kai ana mata te aronga. Using our cultural capital, using what is important to us to move forward. Ka pai, our mission, e puta ki Taiātea. So, e puta ki Taiātea is a saying in Ngāti Mahanga where our kura is based, the hau kāinga. And to us it means to strive to achieve your full potential. Not just get halfway up the mountain and then taka pore ka taka ki te awa. It's getting to the top of the mountain and being prepared with everything that you need to succeed in life. So, and I almost missed my actual notes bits that I wrote there. Sorry, it's been a long week, hey, whānau. Nō reira, just to thing off this part. When right from the very beginning, right from the early 2000s, we developed a framework, I suppose you would call. It was a Māori version of a learning plan, which we call Rautaki Ako, which is a learning plan. It started being like an IEGP, but we thought that they had negative connotations attached because we wanted the Rautaki Ako, aka learning plan, to be for everybody in our kura. Every uri, every staff member, everybody. It was a part of who we are. It was a key driver in our kaupapa. It was a key priority. It provided purpose. It provided structure. It evolved over time. We were trying to be responsive to the students' needs and to the whānau, the whānau needs as well. We could see that it provided students with direction, and we are getting better over time. Whaia, Tracy, we get better over time there. She had a baby at Kura. So, you know, it kept them focused, and it celebrated who they are. It celebrated their uniqueness, their identity. So for us, our Rautaki Ako was developed around a structure that comes out of our mission statement, actually. E puta ki Taiātea. So that puta has a twofold meaning to us. You know, to when we leave school, because our logo is a, no, I usually have the logo, but it's like a big koru, and it's got year 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then there's this world at the top. So we're trying to prepare them to be ready.
On the front page.
There we go. Let me just show you, whānau. So this here, year 9, 10, and you can see how it grows over time because we're trying to grow and develop them over time. 11, 12, 13, and ko te ao, huri huri tēnei. Ka pai? So, e puta ki Taiātea is to puta ki te ao, as well as puta being part of our strategic plan. The 4, those letters there, P-U-T-A, being 4 of the most important things to us in our kaupapa. And we're going to share what those 4 things are. You can share what they are, eh? Because
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they need a break from me.
Perfect. Okay, actually we've got some, I'm gonna keep going in the order that we've got the slides here because I feel like the next slide is actually really important. So the first thing is our rautaki ako that Mish talked about there. It has the 4 parts, but there's also a 5th part, and the reason I want to talk about that first is because we think that that's actually the most important. So the 5th part is, who are they? Who are you? And I think I wanted to talk to that first before we start making goals and talking about the other things, because this is really, really important. And I do want to cover off here too that, like we said, we do both our uru and our kāko do their own rautaki ako. We've had amazing results too from our kāko who have sat down at the beginning of the year to fill in this page. And they've said the feedback to us has been about how it's really grounded them. It's made them realise, actually, this is where I need to be. The fun. I have really fun with it because I go and I find all my photos. And that's what it is for me. It's photos of my whānau. It's photos of all my friends. And I put all that on there. But that's our first step. Is saying, who are you? Who am I? What does that look like? Okay? Is that all right?
Yeah. No, that's great.
Okay. Along the bottom here too, you can see that we've got puta, or puta. And when we speak to it though, we actually change the order. So you'll notice right at the very beginning when we asked you 4 questions, the first question that we asked you about was, what are you doing to improve your reo? So, should we do that one first? Sorry, I've jumped all over the place. Sorry, guys. Should we share this one first?
Yes,
I'll
do that one first.
Okay, my bad.
That's all good. So, Sheree mentioned about having 5 parts. We've got the puta, which is 4 parts, the P, U, T, and A. But prior to, and I'm just going to stand here because I can. Yeah. It's not often you get to stand on a stage and point at something. So, now, prior to the P, so we've got it here. P, U, T, and A, and to us, that stands for Pukenga Ako. Do I speak about that yet? Or?
No, we'll go.
And we've got Tuaratanga, Tukuihotanga, and Arawhai Oranga. And then prior to that, we've got Tuakiritanga. So to us, that who are you? Nā ko waikoe, nā waikoe, no hea koe. Can we just go back up to the family photo?
Yes.
Yeah. This is my family.
Sorry.
So we've got our oldest girl and her wife, our second eldest girl, our baby, and my husband over there. So then everybody puts what is important to them on their front page. And we'll just slowly go up. And then we've got, where are you from? So it is your connection. So I am from Kahungunu and also from Rungo Mai Wahine. So we just go down. And whatever resonates with you, with your tuakiritanga, you pop it on this page. And the good thing about Google, what is this, Google?
Site. It's a Google site.
You can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So then we've got, who are you, where are you from, and then what matters to you. So to us, our pūmanawa. So what is on your heart? What are your passions? And what matters to me is my family. My Treadaway side, and my Ohia side. Our friends, food,
Oops, sorry.
special places, because it's all about getting, oh, there's my body. It's about special places to me, because we need balance in our lives. It's about kini te kauhanga nui, getting balance, because we both are what some people might call workaholics. You need to get a bit of balance in your life, so we've got a little boat here, which we call kino on toast. So that's important to me. So it's now. My mahi is important to me, and it was hard for me to put the mahi at the bottom there, but I did that purposefully, even though it takes up 23 of my 24 hours a day. I thought, no, I'm putting my family first. And our kaupapa is about being an orange kid. So that's why, because our uniforms are a little traffic lightish. So yes, so that's the tuakiritanga page. Who are you? Where are you from? Who do you belong to? What matters to you? Kapai.
Beautiful. Alright. Should we go through? What I'll do? Should we flick through this stuff? Okay. Sorry. I feel like we're changing orders a little bit here, but we're very organised. I promise. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. So I'll flick back up to here. And is that right? No, I need it to be slowjo. Where did it go?
Go back out again?
Oh, it was down here. That's right. No.
Yeah.
There it is. Sorry. Technology. We're learning. All right. Okay, so we're going to jump out just for a second here. I know we're going a little bit all over the place, but it does make sense in a moment. I promise it will all come together. So the reason you're in here was for the professional growth cycle, to hear about that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back up a little bit, and then you're going to see how beautifully what we had already, what already existed, and what we needed to do, how beautifully it married together. So basically the professional growth cycle, it says, a professional growth cycle focuses on how teachers use and meet our code, our standards in their everyday practice. Okay? Now, again, not knowing my audience, I've been not knowing how much you guys know, I've put up here our code. Okay? So some of you will have seen this before, some of you may not. So we've got here, I'm going to say it in English, sorry. Commitment to society, commitment to the teaching profession, commitment to learners, and commitments to family and whānau. So that is the teaching code. And we need to make sure that every single kāko that we have, everyone that works in our kura, is meeting the code. The second thing we need to make sure is that they're meeting the standards for teaching profession. Okay? So we've got teaching, we've got design for learning, we've got learning-focused culture, professional relationships, professional learning, and te tiriti o waitangi. Okay, so we've got the partnership there as well. Now, all of that, we need to prove. We need evidence. Now, in the past, it used to be this hideous form where you'd have this appraisal and the teachers would make up stuff to prove, and then they would do a tick box, and it would be at the end of the year, and we're all really tired, and it's just going through the process. And we said that this is silly. We do not want to do that. We want something that we live, that we love, and that is authentic, and that just naturally happens. So we were so lucky because we already had rautaki ako. We were already using that. And so we just went, let's just make that work. Let's just use that as our professional growth cycle. So now I get to the part where we get to talk about those 4 aspects. So the first one is our tukuihutanga. So this is what the very first question we asked you. What are you doing to improve your reo? And Misha's going to share her one here.
Yep, so the reason why it's still puta, but we're putting it in a different order, because to us, we want to start with onamata, which is the tukuihotanga and the uaratanga. Then we want to move to the anamata, which are the future-focused areas. So I'm just going to quickly go through what that looks like for us. So we set goals, and I'm talking everybody, the uri and the kaimahi as well, and the kaimahi, they all share their rautaki ako with me. So we set their goals, and I'm just going to share my one. Do I fit with
Yeah.
I've got minimal IT skills, whānau, so
You just
please
tell me
bear
what
with
to
me.
do.
So we've got, I'm just going to go through the goals.
Oh, at the top, yeah.
So we choose at least 3 goals each. My one is to whakapakari tōku reo. Another one is to whakapakari o ka pukenga karanga. And the other one is kia kaumake, kia mauria, ki ngā mihi ōkawa. So your goals could be anything that you want, big or small, that align to what is important to you. So from here we go down to the whanaketanga, the development and how we're going to do it. So here are my 3 goals here, the whakapakari tōku reo, the pukenga karanga one, and my mihi ōkawa one. And then below each of those, I'm going to, I'm not going to, I actually did. If we could just go back up, I'm
Yep.
just going to talk about those.
These ones?
So what I did is, how am I going to achieve those goals? Because it's fine to have goals, but you can't just have goals just sitting there, whānau. You need to write a plan on how you are going to achieve those goals. So I've got attend such and such one time, attend at least one course a year at this, go to the Wānanga Reo for this, and listing all of my rautaki or steps that are going to help me achieve those goals. And if we can just scroll a little bit, we can share this with you guys later. And then we've got updates. So Sheree and I update differently. You will see how she updates on her one shortly. But I update under the 3 sections. So my real section, I've just listed the wānanga that I've been to so far, what I've done for karanga, and I know this might look a little bit random to you guys, but I've written when it was my honour to do karanga, really I was the only option, whānau. So I've written the such and such kaupapa I had, because I've got to change your mindset, had the honour to do this, listed those kaupapa. Because I could get to the end of the year and then I'd think, I haven't even done anything. But if I list it here, I can see, actually I did the karanga and many things, and then we went to the birthday and I got to do the karanga there as well. So it's listing it there, and mihi, I've got nothing. So you can, and then can we just scroll a little bit down, and then we encourage our uri and ourselves to add photos and video clips. I haven't got around to that yet, but of when you have had your baby steps moving towards achieving those goals. Ka pai, so that's an example of tuku ihotanga.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. So, I keep on going to a different place. Where is it?
It's down the bottom.
Yeah, but it's... no. Oh, there it's back.
There it is.
Okay. Cool. So our second one, our u there, is for uaratanga. Okay, so for us, Poutu Whakaaro is something that we speak to our students about from day one. In fact, before they even come to Aotearoa, when they come and do their visit, when they do their interviews to come, we talk about Poutu Whakaaro. We live our values in everything that we do. We do a lot of work with our students and our kāko, with everyone actually in our whole community, saying, what does this look like? What does this mean to you? We talk with our whānau when they come in and we say, this is your responsibility. Okay, this is what we will do, this is what you will do. Every student, I'd quite confidently say that every uri that we have at Kura right now could speak to Poutu Whakaaro. I do feel really confident in that. And for our kāko, I'm going to just tell a little story here. I got quite a fright with myself when I was making my first rautaki ako. So first of all, I thought, okay, I'm going to make my puking ako, so my skills for both as a kāko pangaro and as my role in the SLT. I thought this is really important because they're different roles. I need to make sure I've got my skills going. And so I started looking, what do I want as a leader? And I realised that they were just our values. That everything that I do as a leader is values focused. It all fit perfectly. So I'm going to show you now my rautaki ako. Where is it? Here. And this is my goals here. Actually, I'll just move it down so you can see there. So I had 3 goals there. And like I said, it started off that these were my skills that I wanted as an SLT, as a leader in the school. But actually, they were just my values. And it's what I needed to do for everyone that I encounter, everyone that I meet with. So there, actively listening to other people's perspectives. You know, thinking about what they bring, how they form their perspectives. Clearly communicating, transparently, following through, making sure I'm not just all talk. Okay? And kawenga, don't turn a blind eye. And this for me goes right down to that when I'm walking to my room from the staff room, no, I'm not walking past rubbish. I'm picking that up and I'm putting it in. So it's every part of that. So for me, it was a real moment, a real aha. This Ngā Taiātea's way of being had really got into my soul, and I was suddenly values focused in everything that I do. So this is pretty cool for me. So here's mine. I'm a writer, so I write lots of stuff. Other people don't have to. Mish does a bit more photos and stuff and pictures. I write because it helps me. And I set mine up separately here. So I do it into terms, term 1, term 2, term 3, and under each of them is under each of those. And that's just purely for me, that's how I work, because I like to see that I am doing something every term, because I'm a shocker, otherwise get to the end and then think, oh quick, I've got to go and have these conversations, or I've got to go do stuff. But it's a nice feeling when you sit down to write in these and you're actually, I have done this, and I did have that courageous conversation, and I have made a difference. So, yeah, that's for Oaratanga.
Awesome. Awesome, eh, guys? So, pautu whakaaro, that word there, is just taken from the P and the O. You can see how there are capital letters and, what's the other one? Little letters? Lowercase. So there's capitals and lowercase. Now, when you see the capital, that's the start of one of the values, and the lowercase is part of that. So the P and the O is part of pono, the UTU is part of tau utu utu, wha, whanaungatanga, ka, kawenga, a, aro, futa aroha. That's so that our kids can learn one word and then break it up and then learn our values. You know, we refer to it as pautu whakaaro, like Sheree said. Ka pai, another section in our rautakiako. Also, our rautakiako templates are all the same, but how we put into them is up to us. Ka pai, so how we feedback, reflect, and all that is up to us. Okay, so arawhai oranga is part of the anamata, the future-focused thing. So to us, arawhai oranga is self-determined, future-focused pathways. And there are two sections to our arawhai oranga. One is whānau. Whānau, to us, that is like the careers focus. Where do you want to be post Ngā Taiātea? Where do you want to be post Taiātea? What skills do you need? What is it that you are passionate about? That's the arawhai oranga. Ka pai? And the reason why we call it whānau is because you are going to go to work, university, wherever it is that you're going to go, moto whānau, te take. So that you can learn what you need to bring back to the whānau, to bring back to the iwi, to bring back to the hapu, not to bring back to yourself. So you can sit in your millionaire mansion and do whatever they do all day. So that's why we call that part te taha whānau. The second part is the taha oranga o te tinana. Probably the whare tapawha. Your physical well-being, your mental well-being, and your other well-being. Emotional and those... Spiritual, all those other well-beings. So, if we can just scroll down to the bit where it's got the pictures and the goals and the actions. Now, I'm just going to share mine with you. Now, I haven't focused on my whānau side of things because I already have a job. And I'm going to stay there for a little while. So I'm focusing on the oranga side. And so my first one, and I know that these goals may seem random to you, but it's just my goals, so you can choose your own goals and write it in your own rautaki. So I'll just have to look at my notes to see, I can't actually see that far. So my first one is to be organised and go to the supermarket 1 time per week, because we've only got 1 child at home now. The baby. The other 2 have flown away and the baby is at home, 16-year-old, thinks she's 25, and she thinks I can go to the supermarket for her every day when she needs a hair gel or whatever. So I said, this is our plan, because I said to my husband, we're going to start saving money for our retirement. We're going to go to the supermarket once a week. Well, that's not working, so you'll see on the updates there's nothing there. The baby sort of things the father, and next minute we're back at the supermarket again. So I said to him, that's it, next term we're starting and we're going to do click and collect, or that other one where the truck turns up. So that's one of my goals. Another goal is training at City Fitness. So I actually hate going to the gym. But my husband, he's really awesome. He wants us to live long lives. We haven't got mokopuna yet. But we want to be around for our mokopuna, and I want to be one of those nannies that actually play with your mokopuna, not one of those ones that send them to the playground and you go moko. I want to be like swinging them and all those sort of things and doing the cool things with the moko. So we're going to, and we've started going at least 3 times a week, so winning. This other one, I was planning on taking this out before this hui, but I didn't, but oh well. I'll share with a bunch of random strangers that I had weight loss surgery. So I have to learn how to gain control over my eating and my portion control. That Taylor Clinics thing, and I said to Sheree, I haven't taken that thing out yet. She goes, we can use my... no, I'll just share with we're whānau now. So I've put in there what I need to do. I've got to go to this thing in Ohakune to learn how to work with my mind and my fascination and with the food and everything like that, and portion control by using the little plate and all those sort of things, using the recipe books that they gave me. So this probably won't relate to any of you guys, but this is what is important to me in this part of my life. Ka pai?
And I think the important thing to cover here is that we want everyone to be honest and to be vulnerable in this space. To do that, though, they have to trust us and they have to feel safe. So all of our kāko share with Mish, so they've all shared their rautaki ako, but then it's up to them how much they share with other people. Okay, so it's not public document that we can all have a scroll through.
My one is public.
Yeah, yours is public.
My one is public. It's sent to the whole staff. So they all know about the clinic thing as well. Because I thought you've got to be, what Sheree said, you've got to be vulnerable to get people to trust you. Otherwise people are just going to write goals that they think you want to hear, and it's going to have no relevance to them. And here's the exciting part about the professional growth cycle part there, Tiwi.
It is. So, pukinga akua. So this is my baby. This is something that I'm really, really passionate about. Inquiry. Our teachers need to have an inquiry mindset. To me, that is number 1. I need my teachers to be wondering what is going on. Why is that student not in class? Why is that student having trouble doing that? What can I change? What am I going to do about it? And the fact is, we do inquire. We make a million decisions before morning tea. We do that all the time. But what this is this gives a scaffold so our kāko have steps to follow. And it means there's an opportunity to go really, really deep and to learn and develop our skills. So, for me, my pukinga ako, I did 3 goals. The rule is that everyone has to do an inquiry, so they only really have to do 1, but I missed a little bit OTT. So I've got 3 goals here. My first one is to strengthen my network of kāko pangaro, and I need to work with other people. Obviously, I don't have the reo that I need to be teaching where I am, but I have a lot of support and I want to be better. So that's an important one for me. Utilising mātauranga Māori better in my everyday teaching. Okay, so these are goals again that are just for me. They look really different for other people. And then the third one is inquire. All right, so that's mine. You can see how I set it all up. All right, if I go back down here, pukinga ako. We use this model here, so it's Timpoli and Kaiser. I love it. Like, I absolutely love this model because it's so deep and you're just asking questions and you're searching for answers and you're working with everybody. So we start off, I encourage our kāko to start with scanning. So the question there is, what is going on for every student that you teach? And that's a full 360-degree scan. So what's going on at home? What number are they in the whānau? Is it a blended whānau? Where's mum? Where's dad? Who are they living? Everything. We need to know everything about them. What sports are they good at? Absolutely everything. Okay? What are their responsibilities outside of kura? Because when you get to secondary school and some of our kids, they have big responsibilities. So we need to know that. Because actually my little pangaro activity that I needed them to do, they don't care because that's very small. And I need to know that because me going hard about that, that could be the, what do they say, the match that breaks the camel's back or whatever, you know? So I've got to know that. Once I've done my scanning, once I've looked what's going on for all of my students, I focus. And I go in and I choose, actually, where am I going to go hard? Now, I have to be really clear on this, that just because I choose to focus on a couple of students, it doesn't mean I'm ignoring all the rest. It means that's the area that I've identified that I need to grow the most. And that's what it's about, me growing. I need to grow based on the needs of my students. Okay? So this is really, really important. This is not about me just going, I'm going to go to this PD over here that's really good because it's about this. It's about me saying, actually, this student in front of me right now needs me to learn how to do this better. And that's why we do this. So the next few slides, I won't go hard into them, but when we were with teachers, I just wanted to show you, this is how much we've structured it. We've pulled it apart, okay? We've said, actually scanning. Who is underachieving? What is the crisis? And I use the word crisis there really seriously. Because if a student is underachieving, it is a crisis. We need to do something about it now. It can't be like, oh, well, maybe next year I'm going to learn how to do that better. What about that kid? You might not have them next year. So to me, I use the word crisis, and I love it when people challenge me about that. And it's happened a few times where people say, that's deficit theorising using the word crisis. I'm like, no, it is a crisis. If that kid's not learning right now, we've got to do something. What data? Okay? You can't just make it up. You need to prove me with data. The number of times we have people say things like, oh, their attendance is poor. I'm like, show me their attendance. Oh, it's actually 78%. It's not as poor as I thought. Ah, actually, they're only missing your one class on that day. Ah, maybe that's more a you thing than a them thing, you know? Questions. And that's what this is about. Next, at the bottom, you'll notice on every single slide, I've got there, who did I talk to and what did I learn? Because you cannot do this learning by yourself. You need to be talking to the students, you need to be talking to whānau, you need to be talking to the other kāko of those students. Scanning. Focusing. So this is what I was talking about, where we focus in, we just choose one or two or a small group of students that we're really going to focus on. And although it says they're worth spending time on, everyone's worth spending time on, but it's more saying, this is the area I need to grow the most in. Speak to the students, okay? What do the ākonga say about the crisis I've identified, and what strengths do they say they possess? I've presented this many, many times, and you'd be amazed at the number of times kāko go, oh, I haven't asked. I don't know what the student thinks about that. That needs to be our first stop. That's who we need to talk to. Sorry that yous aren't kāko. I know I get really excited about this stuff, but this is where the learning happens. This is where the learning for our kāko, to make sure that we're improving the teaching and learning in all of our space. Developing a hunch. This is really cool. This is where you put it out on the table. You say what you think is going on. And I love this because you have to work hard with your staff first to make sure that you get a culture where you can challenge each other. So that when you walk into the staff room and someone says, oh, I'm really struggling with this student, and then someone else says, oh, their whole family was just like that, or their whole family doesn't care, or the brother was just the same. We need to be able to challenge that back and go, actually, that student isn't their brother, though. They're different. Did you know that he's actually really good at league and he was just playing last week? We need to have that, and it needs to be, it's not being collegial by agreeing with people, and it's not being argumentative by disagreeing. It's actually about growing and being a better place to educate these students and to support them. So you have to be able to have critical friends, that being able to have that. And we spend a lot of time building those relationships with our staff, making sure that you can make a sandwich, for example, a positive, a negative, a positive, all that sort of stuff, because this is really important. Again, who did you talk to? What did you learn? All the time. If you're doing this at every single step, you're learning. Now we're learning. Now we're looking at the students, and we're saying, what are their learning needs? Okay? What are the learning needs for that student? Now, this is a really cool opportunity to get someone to come and do an observation. So back in the day, observations used to be come and sit in my classroom for an hour and tick the box and then sign me off. This is, Mish, can you come in and watch? I've got 3 students, they're going to be doing this activity. Can you just watch? Is Anaru actually reading the words, or is he copying? And it's really focused. It might only be 20 minutes. Then she goes out, and then after we have a debrief, and I learn from that. So now that observation, that making sure those things that used to be just a checklist is for my learning and my students' learning, because it all goes together. Okay, what interventions do I believe meet these learning needs? Okay, so you've got to go find some stuff. You can't just make it up here. You've got to go talk to people. You've got to read stuff. We're so lucky. We've got Facebook groups for anything you can think of now. If you think that we might need, I don't know, a numeracy thing, if you think that it's a literacy thing, you can find stuff. There are TED Talks, there are YouTube. You can learn stuff from other people on the other side of the world. You can learn people from all around the motu. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in your one space. So I think this is awesome. Taking action, you've got to do it. Now this is where, at the beginning how it had the spiral. This is for, you might try something and it doesn't work. That's all right. You've learned something from it. And you go again, and you go again, and you go again. And that's the goal with this stuff, that you're just learning. You're finding out what is going to work. You never give up. You can't give up, because that's not fair. And the last one, checking. Have I made enough of a difference? Okay? What happened for that student? Okay? I have this dream that every time I have a student as a target student and I work with them and I learn something, that student then learns something about themselves and about how they learn. So that then when they leave and they go to university or they go into the workforce, they know something about how they learn that makes them special and that makes them successful. Because they've learnt that through learning with me. And I really think that that's important. It's not just about me. It's about the student and what they're taking away. So, like I say, sorry to those of you who were not kāko. I do get a bit excited about this stuff. But what we wanted to challenge with you in the room, oh yeah, we're still going all right for time, is we had a few questions, because these are based on us. Okay? Puta is us. It's ours. We can't just give this to you. That would be silly. It wouldn't work. So we wanted to challenge you guys, give you a moment to actually think, what do you value? Okay, what's important to you in your kura? And what's in your strategic plan? Because for us, everything relates back to this. Everything. So I'm going to just give you a moment, unless you want to say something.
Awesome.
Kei te tira hai wā kōrua whakāturana e kite atu ana I te tuakiri o wā kōrua mai. I nāia nei, kei te tiro whakamua, kei te ana whakamua ahau, I he kai ako, me te kaumātua, me te puari, hoki. I te tīmatana o te tuakiri, I raro pei te kupua te Pākehā, te graduate profile. Ka hānai tunu a kōrua mahi, I raro I te graduate profile o te tamaiti, pera tōku mori.
Yeah.
Kei roto I era o nā whakāturana a te tamaiti, kai reira e tahi wero ma te kaiako, pēnei wā kōrua, hea hatai hiahia. Ahakua kua moi o rātai no hea rātai. He aha a rātai mahi. Enari ko te wero ki. He aha tāu ia ia. Nā, I roto I nā rana hau a te tarimātai rana, ko ētahi o a rātou I wero kare hānau mai ki te tamaiti Māori. I nāia nei, kua Waimaria tātou kua uru mai te marautana a Māori. Hei ako ke I a tātou hitori me nā mahi o te haukainga. Kua uru atu era I roto I a rātou rated profiles e kuru hia nei. So kua kitea I reira, kei hea rātou e rahuani, kia taia aipea e te kai ako te hāpina. Instead te wero haere mai o wiwi wawa, kei roto I wāratau creative profile, ka tere kitea. Wāratau wawa, ka wāratau kia. Me te tiro hoki a whaimi a te whānau kei te kite hea wāratau mai. Hea wāratau tino hiaria mo tā rātau tamaiti. Nā, I runa I tērā kua hoki mai a hau ki nā whaerewa, kei te trai a hau te hono I nā whaerewa ki wāratau a tuakiri. Now we're talking about the standards. As kaiakos, there's requirements there as the standards we use because there's 6 principles, you know, with the nā whaerewa, am I right?
Yep.
Principles?
Yep.
Yep, I think we've got that up there.
Now, I raro o tērai, under the 6 principles, there's a requirement there that says that kaiakos or the kura or the board or the whatever have to redesign. And just looking, I was hoping to see some sort of template of your designing model of the whaerewa. But take the pipe, it's all right. I've been ahead and doing things like this for our redesigning. Now, when it comes to accountability of the kaiako, now, of course, the kaiako have to work with the tuaki because it's to do with the standards. Just say if I'm not on the right track, because my accountability goes there, which goes to the tuaki, which they see before it gets sent to MOE. If I want my license.
Yeah.
It takes me 3 years to do that. My question is, I suppose, does these standards have the same qualities for a part-timer? Are they on the same standards, or are their standards different as a part-time? When I go part-time, they're only working 2 days a week or 1 day a week. So is it the same standard, or have they got a different standard?
Yeah. Ki roto I tō mātou kura he orite, ngā mea katoa. Yeah, mō ngā kaimahi kamahi, te iara, full-time and part-time whā. Yeah. Ka pai? Ka pai. So we'll just quickly move forward and carry on with that last little bit, whānau, and then we can have some other questions at the end. Kei te pai? So, Sheree? So she spoke about what do you value in your kura? Ka pai? Yes. So, you know, the Teachers Council website says that the starting point is to establish a shared understanding. So that's where we're starting, and that's what was important to us in our kura, was our puta, which was taken directly from our strategic plan. So we were just asking, what is your strategic plan? What is it that is important to you in your kaupapa? Whether you are a tumuaki, a kaiako, a board member, you will all be familiar with the strategic plan, falling down from that, the annual plan, and then all of the rest of the planning within the kura. Ka pai?
Yep. Perfect. I'm just looking at
we were going to have an activity with that, but we haven't.
Sorry.
We're going to just motor through this one.
Yes, we will. We've got one more slide that we wanted to talk about, and it was things that we have learnt whilst doing this. So I guess the first thing is that, like Meshi, we have to all be on board. We have to all know the strategic plan, and we need to all know where we're heading. Every kāko knows that they have to have a rautaki ako, and that under the pūkinga ako section, there has to be an inquiry. Now, the inquiry, those standards fit in that inquiry beautifully, and that's why we kept it. So although the Teachers' Council said, well, you don't have to have inquiry and appraisal, we say no, we do, if you teach at our school, okay? Because it's too important. That's your learning, and that's evidence of all of those standards. So that's why we keep that in there. We realised, though, that for people to be able to do this, we need to make sure they've got the skills. So what I talked about before, about building up the ability to be critical friends and to have those discussions, we needed to spend time on that. We had to create the tools. So that was that document that you saw there that broke it down, okay? All they have to do is they have to log on, they just copy that whole rautaki ako and they go for it. So the tool is there, there's no barriers there. And time. We give time to this in our hui time. We can't say, here's another job for you to do at another point in time. We say, let's all sit together in Rumakako and we're going to do it. And we do it during our hui time because we have to value it.
Yeah. And that second one, the need to provide an exemplar or a model. Like I mentioned before, I shared my rautaki ako with the full staff and the kids as well, so everybody knows what is in my rautaki ako. You need to be vulnerable, ka pai, and you need to share that example so that people feel safe and they can trust you and they'll share what is on their heart and what matters to them rather than what they think you want to share. You need to provide opportunities to grow. So when we ask those questions at the beginning, what are you doing to improve your reo for the kaupapa? That comes under our tukuihotanga goal, in that tukuihotanga section there. And then providing opportunities for our whānau to grow. Some of our people may say, I want to present karakia in the morning without reading it from my phone or from my paper. So we have mihi o kawa every morning, we have karakia and himene, and then that's an opportunity, no matter where you are on the scale, to be in a safe, a secure environment to start practicing those things that are important to you.
Reflect on everything and share best practice. So we use a KISS model, so keep, improve, start, stop, and we do that for everything. All kaupapa that we run, all modules that we teach, absolutely everything. So that then it's a really reflective, inquiring mindset all the time. What went well, what can we do better? Always, always learning. Sharing best practice, we build into our hui time an opportunity to share best practice. So there'll be different tari, will share what they're going on. This is what Pūtaiao's up to. This is how Pangaro. So that way there, everyone sees it and everyone sort of ups their game because they know that other people are doing good stuff. They're not just staying in their silos. And then the last one here, we celebrate learning and growth. So that's really, really important. We do a presentation at the end of each year of our rautaki ako. It used to be one to many. With COVID, we've had to learn and develop. So last year, it was a 5-minute video presentation. So every kāko had to speak to their rautaki ako. They had to go over their puta, who they are obviously as well, and then the puta sections. And it wasn't allowed to be your whole whakapapa. It had to be 5 minutes, and that was it. So the goal was you had to talk about your learning. And that was a real challenge, and I really do put that out there to people. The amount of time that you had to put into that to really synthesize, what did I learn? Not just talking. Talking can be easy. You can wobble on and you can say random stuff, but to actually be able to say, this is what I learned in such a short amount of time. And it was amazing. We learned so much from each other and where our people's goals are, what challenges they'd had. A big one that came out for us was about the well-being, about how hard COVID had been and how unsettled they were. It was information that we were able to take this year. We were able to change the way we structured our hui. We were able to just take a bit of pressure off. And we only got that because people put that in their rautaki ako. And we celebrate it that they do that. Cool.
And we celebrate the learning of our kaimahi as well as our uri with the rautaki ako as well.
Beautiful. I did have one last thing here, but this was just the feedback form. So when everyone did their presentations, we used these prompts. So see the first prompt there says, what did you like, admire, encourage about the presenter's learning journey and presentation? So that's that whole idea about celebrating growth. But then the second side says, what did you learn from this presentation. So everything that we do, it's, yay, good work, and what's the learning? What's the learning? What's the learning? Because we need to make sure that that's front and centre for this type of mahi, because it's growth, professional growth cycle. And how's that for good timing?
Oh, that's pretty good
that's
for
pretty
timing,
good.
yes, that's up there around timing. Awesome, so that sort of template that we shared with you guys today, that Arataki ako, anybody can use that sort of template, and you can create it to suit you. You can tailor make it to suit you, and we believe that it encompasses everything that you need as part of the professional growth cycle, especially in that pukenga ako area with the inquiry. It covers everything. The tuakiritanga, the pukenga ako, those teaching and learning capabilities that we spoke about, the values, the guiding principles that lead you in your kaupapa, and the arawhai oranga that we had, the taha mo te whānau and the taha well-being side. All of those more tinana, physical, emotional, spiritual, because if you don't have that sorted, then you're going to be no use for anybody else. If your cup is not filled, then it's hard to keep filling up everybody else. Ka pai, so we've got our email addresses there. If you would like a copy of that Arataki ako, and you can adjust it to however you like to suit you, then just flick us an email. And if you have any questions right now, you can ask them to Sheree. She's ready to roll for a couple. We got time for a couple of questions. Anything? Okay, thank you. No, just joking. Any questions, Te iwi? Excellent.
Cool.
Okay then, well, mihi ana kia koutou katoa I whai wā ki te haramai ki tēnei o ngā whakāturanga I tēnei rangi. Tēnā koutou e te iwi.